you ready for a little Southern humor mixed with relevant topics we can all relate to? We're about to pull back the curtains and mix it up. Scoot your chair up. It's time to talk about all the things and ask all the questions. Welcome to Get It Together, y'all.
Hey, everybody. We're laughing already. So this is going to be a show that you're going to want to share with a lot of people. You're going to watch it over and over and over, and you're going to love it because today we have got April and I have got our Southern mothers. We have a portion of this show. If you're not familiar with our show, we love Southern humor and we love to talk about our Southern mothers. So every show, April and I have a little Southern mother moment, and we will talk about that as the show goes on. But today we actually have our Southern mothers. So you're gonna be in for a treat. I'm Cindy Larson, your host for Get It Together, y'all, and thank you for joining us today. We hope that you get yourself some coffee, get yourself a pen and paper if you want to, because you might want to take notes because you might learn a thing or two from these Southern mothers. And so anyway, we're going to have a lot of fun. So my co-host April over here is ready to go.
I am so excited. I already started tearing up, though. It's like emotional having them on here.
We had talked about
so
this.
Sweet.
Yeah.
We
it's
both
here.
love our mama so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like her mom is my mom. And I know you would feel the same about my mom.
Absolutely.
So it's like we really have both of our moms on here today.
It's double trouble.
Yes.
And we, like we're going to be ourselves.
Yeah.
But we're like we learned from these two women. So we're going to be like, in a little bit back in school.
Yes.
So,
and on our best behavior, right?
well, yeah.
Mostly. We better.
So that's your experience with your mother. My mom brings out the stuff in me that, oh my Lord.
I'm sitting here thinking, I'm laughing
Yeah.
and smiling. I really am. I'm not just kidding. I'm thinking about the things I want to say, but I don't dare.
Well, you can dare. So here's the thing, Mama. Let me just remind you. You and Daddy do church shows, but we can talk about all the things.
Oh, well, okay, all righty then.
We have a wide audience, and we know that you are going to have fun with us today because you're going to get to know where we came from, and you will know us better, and we're gonna just really have fun, and then we'll be able to capture this and have it forever.
Yes.
Like we just love stories, and
Yes.
so
Yeah.
we just feel like that when we can have these, I don't care if you've just got a phone, capture Utah having a conversation
Yes.
with your mother or whoever is, the storyteller in your family. Have some time. Like
Take the picture. That's what Mom always says. Take the picture.
Yeah.
And her sister, I love it because one of her sayings always was, it doesn't matter. I'm going to wear it if I want to. There's no limit, like she's just going to wear the things, all the things that you shouldn't be wearing those after a certain age. She's like, oh no, we're going to wear them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's so funny. We're going to push those rules to their limit.
Yes.
So my mother is So this is, okay, we're going to start this Southern mother thing right off the top. So what is your name?
My name is Cleon Cotton.
What is your real name?
Nelva Cleon Cotton.
Okay.
Dewey.
Yeah.
So Southern mothers don't always go by their first name. What is your name?
Debbie Potter,
And what is your real name?
Deborah Potter,
Okay. Well, what is your middle name?
Kay,
Deborah Kay.
And her maiden's Bates.
Bates.
and sometimes I'm Deb.
Okay. All right. So we'll I saw that recently where a lot of Southern women don't go by their first name. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. So Nelva was a little what made you think that Nelva was a little less acceptable than Cleon? Because nobody in the world has ever heard of Cleon either.
Yeah, people will say, what's your other name? And it say, Then Cleon, it's Nelva, and they say, "Oh, never mind." Okay, sorry.
So the spelling Cleon, and the only other Cleons that I think that we have ever run into were big black men.
Yeah.
You know, like athletes. Every once in a while, you'll run into a Cleon.
Cleon Jones
Yeah,
was a baseball player,
yeah.
and so, but I didn't take after him.
No,
I don't
no.
understand it.
Where did your mother get that?
Mother and Dad used to go hunting with pheasant hunting with this couple. They were a few years Mother and Daddy's senior, and Mother said, "If I ever have a daughter, I will name her Cleon because I love Cleon Blakely."
Oh,
And so when I came along, she gave me a little 14-karat gold.
so there was a
bangle.
Cleon. There was a
Yes,
lady that your mother
yes,
knew.
but
I don't think I knew that.
I don't remember her.
No.
I'm making up everything. No, it is the truth. It is the truth.
I don't think I knew that part of
Yeah.
the story, though.
Yeah, and where she got Nelva, she would never tell.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's funny. So we have Southern Mother is one of our it's our go-to. But before we do the Southern Mother, because that's going to kind of be the whole show, we're going to do fun facts. So we started this. April and I kind of started this from show 1 that we had just kind of some icebreakers, because a lot of times our guests don't know each other, and a lot of times I don't know one or both of the guests, and we can put 3 people on these couches, and and so it's just an icebreaker, and a lot of times people have never been on camera before. And so we just get to joking around. And so that's just a common thing that we do, a regular kind of part of our show. Recently, we had 3 big guests. It was a heavy show, and we were super excited to interview these 3 guests that we happened to get on all at the same time. And each one of them was a full hour conversation. So April and I were like, let's skip fun facts and Southern Mothers. And we're like, yeah, we'll skip that. Well, we started the show, and the guests are like, oh, no, I know this show. I got my fun facts. I had a Southern mother. You don't want to talk, and this is going to be like they were prepared for it. So
Yes.
we just like, okay, we'll just do.
They didn't
we'll
want to
just
miss
do-
out on it.
No. Do you have a fun fact today?
I do.
You do?
I do. So the Golden Girls.
Yeah.
The TV show The Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Did you know that the theme song that is on there was not the original theme song
Thank
that they
you
picked?
for being a friend. Was not the real.
No. It was the
original?
Bette Midler Friends song. Friends are Friends Forever.
Oh.
That's what they originally had for that song. I did not know that.
Wow.
I'm like, I just can't make it be
That's
the
a
other
great-
song, though.
a
No,
great
it's got to
friend.
be the one it
Thank you
is.
for being a friend. I love
Yep.
that song. That's one of those stop everything. You know, if you
Yeah.
hear it, you just have to sing along. I don't know. You
Yeah.
might not know.
Oh, I just love the Golden Girls.
They're so
But
cute.
don't tell my husband.
No.
Yeah, mom
thinks they're
mom wouldn't
so
let me.
bad.
Mom
Yeah.
wouldn't let me watch it
Oh,
until I got older.
yeah,
so.
my husband wouldn't let me. So when he leaves,
Well, I have a fun fact. So I have several. If you want to borrow some of mine.
Okay.
It's illegal to wear a fake mustache that causes laughter in church in Alabama.
Mom, you better write that down.
I know.
They're from Alabama.
watch your mustache.
I should have saved that show for when your dad's on.
I know.
'Cause he would be the one that would rip out a fake mustache in a
Try
church,
to do it.
and try to make somebody laugh. That would be me. I just would think it would be hilarious. But in Alabama, you can get in a lot of trouble for that. Did you know that?
Well, I do now. I'm just thinking about it.
So here's another one. If you're in Arizona, it's illegal to cut cactus. You cannot go get a
To the desert and just chop them down.
Unless you're thirsting to death.
well.
That clause is not there.
I don't know. That's Not in what I looked
I'm
up.
going to break that law.
Yeah.
If I'm ever thirsting to death
Right.
in Arizona.
You're going to need a cactus.
I'm going to have to.
Do you know, like, do you have to squeeze it? Is it like a lemon or it just?
I've just seen a movie
Oh,
and they cut into it and they did squeeze it, and I wondered why they didn't get stuck.
yeah.
But
Well, it's probably tricky. Here's one
Yeah.
more. Women are not allowed to drive a car while wearing a house coat in California. That's still a law on the books.
Wow.
I bet that is not enforced. Like a house coat, like that
House
sounds
coat.
like whoever wrote that was from the South.
yeah,
Like, you know, like I don't think I've ever seen a Californian in a house coat.
I don't
Oh,
remember it.
Go to Texas.
You
Especially-
wear them all the time.
Yes, I do.
It's not
They're
illegal
my
in
best
Texas. I
friends.
guarantee you, it
They're
won't be
my-
illegal in
They're-
Texas.
They're my best friends.
Yes.
You know, those old
We're giving you
friends that-
bonus points if you're wearing
Yeah.
them in Texas,
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't touch you. Nobody can judge your
No.
thighs or anything.
And if it's a real good house coat, it's got some kind of applique here, so you can't
Yes.
even see how deep your garments go.
Okay, quit looking at me like that.
Do you wear a lot of house coats?
Sometimes, not a lot.
You don't.
She'll slip one on when she's cooking. You know, not if she's already dressed for church. So
On
she
Sunday,
don't.
more.
Yeah.
I guess on Sundays than other
So you don't
days.
get your dress messed up. You
Yeah.
know, while you're
Yeah.
finishing cooking.
Yeah. Well, an apron. Nobody wears the aprons anymore. Do they?
I
Debbie
do
does.
have some,
you?
and I do occasionally. They've got me some for the different holidays.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So
And
sometimes
they're the
I
cutesy
do.
wootsy, you know,
Okay.
ruffles and
Yeah.
all the
yeah.
appliques and,
Yeah.
you know.
Do you
Yeah.
have? You don't wear a house? I mean, a
Aprons,
apron much?
I've gotten rid of most of them. Sometimes I use one put around level his neck. I don't tie it real hard or anything like
Is
that.
that when he's eating or just when he's
Yes,
misbehaving?
yes, when he's dressed to go somewhere
Yeah.
Yeah.
and he's eating something juicy,
Yeah.
like a taco.
Yeah. Yeah.
like a taco or a peach or something.
Yeah.
But a house coat will serve. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's fun. So we have. I'm gonna put this little sign up, and it's just gonna be up here all day.
I do have a fun fact though.
You do?
I think they both do.
Oh.
Do you?
Yes. Well, let her go first.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. This really did happen, but then I realized that nobody's going to know the people that I think will impress you are the one person, and his name is Will Rogers.
Okay.
He was an old humorist and very popular back in the days when, I don't care if you know how old I am, but it would be in the late 40s and the 50s
Yeah.
when he was really popular. And Mother and Daddy married in 1933. And my dad worked on the XIT ranch in Texas.
Isn't that cool?
And
Wow.
and Mother was home. Oh, I'm gonna change. No, I'll just go ahead and tell that one. I have too many funny stories because Truman Cotton is my daddy.
Yeah.
But anyway, my dad worked with a cowboy whose uncle was Will Rogers, and when he saw him the last time, Uncle Will gave him a brand new shirt. It was really a nice shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, it was way above average. It was a Western shirt and had pearl buttons, and it was all that in a bag of chips, you know. And so he said, I need to wash my shirt, but I'm afraid to wash it, and I don't want to trust anyone with my shirt. And so Dad said, that's all right. He said, you give me that shirt, I'll take it home to Pauline. And she does everything right. She does everything. She added that when she told me the last time. But he said, she'll do your shirt up right. So he takes it home, and Mother picked a day. You know, the wind was not blowing in West Texas, and it was a sunny day, nice day to hang the the shirt on the line. So she washed it with just the right soap. It was probably a homemade soap
Yeah.
that they made, lye soap. And she rinsed it well and dipped it in the starch and hung it on the line. And she went about her business. And a little while, she went to check on the shirt, and the goat had eaten the shirt because the shirt, the cuffs and the collar that she starched, goats love the starch in the shirt.
No.
They like starch. And so they ate the cuffs and the collar off the shirt. And Mother was just mortified.
Yeah.
What am I going to tell Truman? What's he going to tell the nephew? And she was wringing her hands. And a traveling salesman popped in. Rarely came by, but he stopped that day. And she said, I think I want to sell something to you. And he said, okay, maybe we could barter. So they probably did. And she had something he wanted, and so they probably bartered. And what would you like to sell? She said, I have a goat I would like to sell.
Oh,
he said,
my
how about if we trade for a magazine subscription for you? And so she said, done deal. So Dad comes home late in the evening after working all day on the ranch, and he said, Pauline, where's the goat? I noticed the goat's not in the pen. She said, the goat is gone, and I'm going to tell you why he's gone. And instead of the goat, you've got magazines to read. I hope you're happy. And
She was
knowing my
fed up.
dad, he laughed and laughed. He thought it was funnier. She didn't think it's a bit funny, but he saw humor. But that's a fun fact. Will Rogers, check it out.
Okay,
Yes.
that's
He was a real person.
That's awesome. What, you have a fun fact?
I just have yes, kind of a question. Have you ever thought about how many breaths that you take in one day?
No idea.
20,000.
Are you
Wow.
kidding me?
Yeah.
We do
I-
it without even thinking about it,
I know.
don't we?
I never had even thought about that.
Wow. How fun is that?
20,000.
20,000. And if we skipped some, we would be in trouble.
Right. We don't
You
want to
know?
skip any.
No. So I just learned, and I've shared this fun fact on a previous show, but it makes me think about it. The COVID string that is the latest string. One of the telltale signs in men is that they get the hiccups. So if you walk by a gentleman and he's got the hiccups, don't sit down by him. Probably got to. All right. So okay, April has an accent. I don't think.
I think you do. You just have a different one than me.
But
Hers changes.
Cindy's.
Whatever country
Wherever she's at.
in. Yeah, I think it changes, but then she gets back to talking right, just like I do. So
Yes.
after a while.
so we both have different types of Southern accents. And I feel like that it would be a fun thing to play so Mother, you're from West Texas, correct? Where?
I was born in La Mesa,
Okay.
grew up in Littlefield, that's close to Lubbock.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Miss Deb, where are you from? Where were you from?
I was actually born in Haleville, Alabama.
Okay. So always Alabama then. You've stayed close.
Well, after I was born, and we went to Zion, Illinois. You know, the people went and worked to help make money.
Yeah.
When it was a poor time.
Yeah.
And so my dad got killed in an accident when I was 7 months old.
Oh, wow.
So we came back, and I've been an Alabama girl ever since.
Wow. Was your mom from there as well?
She was from here,
Phil Campbell.
Alabama.
Wow. So we have, and you're kind of a blend because how long have you lived in Tennessee?
More than half of my life now.
Wow.
Even though I was born in Alabama.
Yeah.
But
I was
I've been
born
here.
in Texas, but have lived here. But my family traveled a lot. So, I kind of have, different different ways of I guess, depending on who I'm around and how I think that they're going to understand a word. I'm just going to play a game. I'm going to show you a word and ask y'all how you pronounce it. And we're just going to go through some words because I think our audience will have fun with this. Okay, look at this word. How do you say it?
All.
Oil.
All right, so say it in a sentence.
There's oil everywhere, and I think it's olive oil.
How about the next one?
I just love me some pecan pie.
Pecan.
You say pecan? All right.
Alabama's
row.
pretty close to
Yes.
Tennessee.
Wow.
Yes.
I've been here a long time.
Yeah.
What about the third word?
Wash.
Wash.
Do you put an R on it? Wash.
Put one
don't
on
think
it. Go
so.
ahead. Don't be ashamed.
Wash.
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 How you say it?
Wash.
Wash. All right.
Chloe says I say light bulbs wrong.
Well, we're going to get to
Bubs.
that. Light bulbs. Light bulbs. All right. What about
Chloe's
this one?
right.
I'm like,
All right. Let's see if I can hide these. So, how do you say that word?
Well, if it's got bananas in it, I say pudding.
Pudding.
So, like, use it in a sentence.
I love me some banana pudding.
Pudding. All right. There you hear it, right? That's the truth. How about this next one? You got it?
Spoiled rotten.
Boiled rotten.
Now, spoiled rotten.
spoiled rotten.
Yeah. So, a lot of people, what about the third one?
Toilet.
Toilet.
Potty.
But I know what because a lot of the older people here in Tennessee,
Yeah.
they speak very differently than us younger ones.
Yeah.
I was thinking the old people here in Nashville are my age. So I never have said that right, but it's correct the way I say it. It's just not right.
How do you say it?
Pillow.
Pillow.
Yeah,
Pillow.
kind of roll off of that pillow.
Pillow.
Makes you sleepy.
We kind of say pitto because my little nephew, he couldn't say Philip, so we always adopted pitto
What about this
instead
one?
of Philip.
Hang on.
Coupon.
Coupon.
Keep on.
We're from the same place. I know,
I know.
where we are.
I think y'all
we
are
gotta,
twins.
We got to check our history.
All right. Last one.
Tour.
This is not the last one, but it's the last one on this page. How do you say that?
Tear.
Cheer.
Yeah,
That's
she's
good.
She's
I like that.
yeah.
So we're all on tour. Or
Tour.
tour.
Yeah.
All right. How about this one?
Lawyer.
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 Lawyer. Okay.
Yeah.
How about this one?
Can't. East Texas is can't,
Can't.
but West Texas is don't.
Can't.
Can't.
Yeah.
Can't and can't. How about the last one?
Water. Now the
Water.
older Tennesseans say water.
Water.
Yeah,
Okay.
water.
All right. So we're going through these. See, to me, none of this is funny because this is
It's
just
the way
how
we
you
talk, right?
That's how we say it. But just so you know, the northern folks don't say any of these words like you've pronounced them. None of them.
Yeah.
They don't say any of these
I
words.
know.
the same.
Bless their hearts. Bless their little hearts.
Okay. What about that top one?
Picture.
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 Caramel.
Caramel.
And here's your light bulb.
Light bulb.
Light bulb.
Light bulb.
See, that's where I get it from. Light bulb.
Light bulb.
Light bulb. That is awesome. Okay. Now one more, and then I'm gonna get into some words that aren't words, and I want us to talk about them. But what about that word?
Plum.
All right. So use it in a sentence.
I like me some plum pudding too.
All right, but use it in a way that a northern wouldn't like. What's another way to use that word?
The water's plumb gone.
Plumb gone.
I'm plumb tuckered out.
Plumb tuckered out. All right, here these words that are underlined are not words, but you can use them in a sentence. Okay, start with this one.
Fixin'.
That's not a word. Use it in a sentence, Miss Deb.
Okay, I'm fixing to go to town.
There you go. All right, this next one's
Yeah.
not a word. Mama, use it.
I reckon you'll come if I say you're coming.
I reckon I will.
And
All
I
right.
reckon I'll go up there and grab you if you're not.
Do you use this one? Wallering?
Wallering, I've heard it, yes.
Mama, use
Wallering.
it.
Don't you be out there wallering with those boys.
Oh, boys! You're going straight for the boys.
I thought she was going to say pigs, but, you know, boys, pigs.
All right, look at this top one.
Oh, goodness, that's easy.
Use it in a sentence.
You used to say that when you're little, tumped over, the water tumped over in the refrigerator.
It did. So, just so y'all are taking notes, tump is not a word,
No,
but we use it all the time.
tumped over.
No, it tumped over. What about this one?
That left a whelp.
The whelp is not a word.
No, but it's
Where's the camera?
it's a blister. Or,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
but-
If you think that was a whelp, wait till I whoop you next. You got off light.
Piddling.
I'm just piddling.
It's not a word, but use it in a sentence.
My grandmother used to use it a lot.
All right,
I'd
say
say,
it.
"What are you doing?" Sometimes she would say, "Piddling around" or puttering around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Those are good words.
Yeah.
pittering and
It
puttering.
explains it.
What about putzing around?
That's good if you're new age.
Okay, chuck it in the trash.
Chunk it in the trash. We're done with it. It's
Do
history.
you say it?
I've said it. Chunk some in the car.
Yeah,
Chunk it.
chunk it there. Used to could.
I
Used to could. That's not how you spell it, but it's not a word, so I can spell it any way I want to.
Yeah.
So use that in a sentence.
Yeah. I used to could do a lot of things I can't do now.
Oh, well, that's the truth, isn't it? And how about the last one? Rurt.
Oh, you remember the time that some people came to our service? We had these huge RCA speakers. Or
So we
whatever
traveled.
kind of-
So time out. Mom and I grew up on the road in music, and my parents.
It's not my fault. I was following your daddy. His call of God. It's what
Yeah.
I was doing. It's still doing it.
So what about Rurt?
Okay, I'm going to say what a lady said to my husband one time. She said, "Those big speakers make it too loud in here, and you ruined it for me and my friend."
And so Mama said, "So what was too loud?" She said, "Them speakers that you hold in your hand. You just
Yeah.
had them up in your mouth so far,
Them
and they just
speakers.
ruined it
Speakers.
for me and my friend." Yeah.
Not mics,
Uh,
just
no,
speakers.
speakers.
Yeah. All that stuff is speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
This is not a word. I'm on here to tell you. Skedaddle.
yeah.
Skedaddle. Do you use it? Say it in a word. In a sentence.
Skedaddle out of here.
Skedaddle out of here. Is that?
Skedaddle out of here.
Get out of the kitchen, basically. Go play outside.
Yes. Get out.
Get lost, don't you know? I'm talking to my mother on the phone or about you.
All right. Here's one.
Wallering.
Wallering.
Yeah.
Use that in a sentence.
No, I'm gonna let somebody else because I about showed myself a while ago.
Wallering. Use it in a sentence.
Well, she said wallering around with the boys.
Well,
And I said pig.
The pigs waller around. That's
okay.
Yeah.
These are controversial cuss words. Dagnammit.
You're just trying to get me to say something.
We already know.
She
that-
won't say neither one of them.
No.
We
already
can't
know
say
this.
doggone even.
Can't say doggone.
I couldn't either. I was raised right.
My dad can say this word in a way that you would just, but he would not say a 4-letter word to
Well,
no way,
that's
no how.
5, 6 letters.
Well,
5
I
letters.
know it. I know it. I'm gonna hold up a picture, and I want you to say what you say that it is.
That's a semi truck.
18-wheeler.
See, I
18-wheeler.
18-wheeler.
Yeah.
18-wheeler. I was hoping one of y'all would get because
Oh, yeah. She's from
that's-
Alabama.
I know it.
I need to visit West Texas more often.
What do y'all say this is?
Shopping cart.
Buggy.
buggy.
Yeah, I call it a buggy too.
But I have
So,
to.
for all you Northerners, this can also be a buggy.
For you.
That's right.
Hey, you can haul your kids in that
This is the last one. All right, I'm going to show you a picture. What is it?
envelope.
Envelope.
Envelope and envelope. So,
Yeah.
we have a variety, and both of them are cute. But, you
Thank
know,
you.
it's just something that, we have people that just like to hear all that stuff. They like a little education. So, back on your in your earliest memories, what are some of your earliest memories, Miss Deb?
Well, let's see.
Before she starts, can I say something?
Yes.
Can I tell something on her?
Yes.
So my mom has been through a lot of trials, as I know your mom has too.
Yeah.
But she is the most positive Miss June Cleaver person I've ever met in my life.
She's very
she
much
sees
of a Pauline.
the best in everybody, and even from a young age. And I'll let her tell the story. But she was accidentally run over by her mom when she was little, and then losing her dad so young, and then I'm sure she'll tell you about her mom died of cancer when she was 13.
Wow.
And so she's just had a lot of losses, including my sister. And she is just the most gracious person. And I have to say that even though if she's my mom, it's like she has every reason and every excuse not to be.
Yeah.
But she is the most positive person.
Wow. Who raised you if your mom passed when you were 13?
My grandparents, but
Okay.
when my daddy passed away, he got killed in a car wreck, we moved in the house. My grandparents was renting a house, and they was doing what my uncle recently told me that they were doing the sharecropping,
Okay.
and where the other people owns the land
Yeah.
and they help work it and all, and then they divide the money. But anyway, they was renting a house, and we moved in with them, and my mother worked, and then eventually she bought a place, and they moved in with us, and
Wow.
and I lived with my grandmother then. She raised me and my sister both.
Wow.
My grandfather passed away when I was 10.
Wow. So
And,
your grandmother was handling a lot. Was your sister younger or older?
2 years older.
Okay.
And see, my grandmother never learned to drive. She raised family and then
Yeah.
raised me and my sister. And so we didn't have a way of going, really. But we had a car, but we didn't have a driver. So we would just load up on Saturday and go buy our groceries. And my sister would drive. She was 15.
Wow.
And we never got caught.
So you did break the law. Wow.
We
Mom.
did, I guess so.
But in that day, you were surrounded by farming and really young people drove
Yeah.
out of necessity. So that wasn't probably a big deal. But that's amazing. So you how many people lived in the house? Was it just your grandmother and your sister and yourself?
Grandmother and grandfather till 10.
Okay.
And my mother and my sister and me.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. And so you went to school. Did you go on a bus or did you walk?
Bus.
Or- yeah.
We got the bus.
Wow.
But even her mother, which is my grandmother, I never, of course, got to meet her.
Yeah.
My mom, Maxine. I love that name.
Yeah. We have a Maxine.
Mom was telling me, and it reminds me of Miss Cleon too, in all her giftings of sewing. My mom Maxine was like that, and she could go to town and just make something without a pattern, and
Yeah.
just super talented. But mom was saying she just worked so hard
Yeah.
because she had the girls, and then grandfather wasn't there, so there was
Yeah.
no man,
Yeah.
so she would work a full-time job, work at the chicken house.
We had 3 chicken houses we built. I can remember them being built.
Wow.
And,
so you raised chickens.
We did.
Did you sell the eggs or did you sell them for
No,
for the
it
meat?
was through a company.
Yeah.
And then we had cows and pigs and
Wow.
cats and dogs and
How old were you when you got married?
18.
Okay. Pretty young.
One month before I turned 19
Wow. How did you guys meet?
in school.
Yeah.
hmm
That's
He,
amazing.
Turl had went to East Franklin, and he came to Phil Campbell in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
And so I went to Phil Campbell the entire time.
Yeah.
But we met in the 10th grade.
So I just think this is so fascinating. April's dad's name is Turl. Mm-hmm. So go through this. I mean, if you've not caught this on an earlier show.
So everybody loves our family names.
Yeah.
So only in Alabama,
Yeah.
I don't know why they even did this, but my grandmother's name was Ira, and then Earl was her husband, so my grandfather. And then my dad's name is Turl. It's not Terrell, it's Turl.
Turl.
And then he has a
But
twin brother,
spelled with an E.
Terrell.
Oh, yeah, that's Turl.
Yeah. Turl,
And-
and then his twin brother was Merle, Merrell. And then Merle has 2 twins. I mean, a son and a daughter, and it's Durrell, Derrell, not Daryl, Durrell,
Yeah.
and Cheryl,
Yeah.
Cheryl. And I was just April. Because I was named after the Inspirations kids. So I got a break. But on the ball team, people call me Pearl.
Yeah, because Earl and Cheryl and Durrell and
Chloe goes,
Turl.
yeah, I'm really glad, Mom, that you didn't turn out as Pearl.
That's so cute. But you know what? I love a pearl. I'm a sucker for a pearl. So I would have loved you as a pearl. I thought Mom almost named me April,
Really?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was born in April, and she just thought that was the cutest name. So now, my sidekick is
Yeah.
is my cute name.
See why I didn't? Because
Yeah.
that'd be so confusing.
April and April.
Would not work.
Just don't have the same ring,
So, Mom, I know these things, but tell us, where you grew up, and you had a brother, and
Yes, only 2 of us. My only sibling is an 85-year-old gentleman now.
yes, still-
And yes, he in a text the other day. This is just a sidebar. It's just him, but he texts me the sweetest messages.
he's a real writer.
And well, he never thought he was. He
Yeah.
thinks I am, but
Yeah.
he's expressive in his writing.
Yeah.
And he said, "I'm writing my sister, who I have loved for 83 years, because I just had a birthday." And I wrote back, and I said, "And I've been loving you for 85." Then I marked it out. I said, "No, I've been loving you for 83, because
Yeah.
I didn't love him before I was born." But he's very affectionate and he's sweet.
Yeah, that's
10
so
foot
precious.
tall, bulletproof, and but he's an amazing man. But we were born in Mother and Daddy still lived on the ranch, I think, when Clovis was born, and they had moved to Lamesa when I was born.
Yeah.
And I think the first recollection, one of the first, was when I was a little girl in church. I'm thinking I'm thinking of your great grandbaby.
Yeah.
Your grandbaby and my in-law boy's great grandbaby. And I was a little bigger than her. But I was, after church, I was running just full out down the aisle of the church, and the pastor, I didn't see him, but he reached down and swooped me up, and like a loving grandfather, Brother Bozeman, he said, "Sweetie," he said, "we don't ever run at the church. unless it's the Holy Ghost, and we can't help it.
That's
But
cute.
I
You
remember,
remember
it.
that.
I felt, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried, because we were taught to respect the pastor,
Yeah.
and to think that the pastor had to correct me. And of course, when Mother, walked up soon after, she corrected me too. Just emphasize it,
That was like your first memory.
Yeah.
And your
I
dad-
think that was about the first thing I remember.
Wow. And your dad did not go to World War II or
No, he found when we had gone, my brother and I went.
because that was during the draft, right?
Yes.
So all
Yes.
men needed to serve.
And I was 2. I believe my brother was 4.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother was born in 39. And so my dad was called into service. And he went to the Army store and bought a lot of stuff. Mother and Daddy bought me a little outfit, little pleated skirt. I was a little soldier, and Clovis, they bought it, and hats. We had the hats and
Yeah.
everything. And then I think it may have been the next day or shortly after, my dad got a letter that he was declined because of his age. He was like, he was born in February, but he was too old for the draft.
Wow, just missed it.
Just missed it.
Wow. So
a
that
lot of those men, brothers and sons, did not return.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So you actually remember that.
I remember in the car, I remember Mother put the skirt on me, and I was standing up between the two of them. No car seats,
No.
And look at us, we made it just
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But I'm here. But all of them, put car seats on your kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I remember that Mother had put the skirt on me, and I felt so cute in that skirt. The pleated, real sharp pleats, and I remember that. So I was not 3.
And
yet.
then you met Daddy. How old were you when you got married and all
I
that?
was 21,
Okay.
and he was 22.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all met at college.
we sure did.
That's awesome.
But we didn't go at the same time.
Okay.
They got to have my book. Did you bring a book?
So
over
we'll
here?
show you the book.
But-
We'll put it up on the screen. Mom and Dad have written their memoirs and their autobiography of when they were young, and you have to get the book. It's called Haystacks and Barbed Wire Fences.
It's got the stories. I'm not going to tell you all today. Not going.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, we told some of them.
Yes,
haven't
yes, some
we?
of them.
The book goes from when Mom and Dad were their earliest memories, and then he writes a chapter, she writes a chapter, so it goes back and forth. So he was on the farm in Nebraska, and Mom was raised on a cotton patch farm in West Texas, and so how their paths just came together and how they it kind of
But
ends.
my dad was a cop.
Oh,
too.
so that's something else y'all have in common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he had story after story
Yeah.
because they could just beat the snot out of people back then.
They took the law into their own hands.
They did.
Literally.
They did, but he was so glad when he got older, and he would talk about those years when he was a cop, and he said, "I'm so thankful I never killed anybody."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, "I made a few people wish I would have, but
Yeah.
because that."
I remember back in those days, and I want to hear because I know that your April's daddy was a cop too. I just think that's so fascinating. But he was a deputy sheriff, right? And it was a little bitty Mayberry town, and one of the things that
Oh
he
no!
would do.
I think we were 3,000
Oh,
or 4,000.
We have the Mayberry town.
okay. Well, it's not a very big town, but he would pull over the town drunks and reach in and get their keys out. That was back in the day when every car had a key, and he'd get it out and he'd say, well, you know what I'm gonna do? And they'd cry, oh, Mr. Cotton, please don't. And he would chunk those keys as far as he could throw them into the ditch. Say, by the time you find your keys, you'll be sober enough to drive home. And that was his little, way of dealing with some people that just needed to take a little time out. But
Yeah.
how did it feel? And when did Turl go into the not Secret Service, into law enforcement? How did that come about, and how did you feel with him leaving every day?
Well, he began being riding with the Phil Kimball Police, and
Okay.
he worked at a store in Russellville. I think during that time, and it was called Dependable Service Center. And then he just loved it. It kind of got in his blood.
Yeah.
And so then he knew the Phil Kimball policeman real good, and he wound up winning sheriff. And so Turl went and got he was hired as the Franklin County
District attorney.
district attorney's
Okay.
investigator.
Wow.
So it was for the whole county. They
Yeah.
only had the one at that time.
Yeah.
And he was gone day and night just about it.
Wow.
But anyway, he worked there, I think, 29 years. And I was actually home from church on a Sunday night. And April was real little, pretty little. And then we had the scanner going, and we heard when he had a wreck. He was chasing someone at Haleville and had a wreck.
High-speed chase. She asked me
And
if
it
I
was,
remembered it. I don't remember, but
but
she said it was
anyway.
really traumatic, like hearing that, like, oh, this wrecked, and she knew that was his number, his
Oh,
car.
wow.
So anyway, we went down there, and it was bad enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then he ended up being a policeman for how many?
Yeah, he-
17? 44 years total. I don't remember
Wow.
the breakdown.
he went through 5 DAs, I believe, and then he had to change his job,
Yeah.
and then his brother was twin brother was the chief of police at Phil Kimball.
Wow.
And so then he went there and stayed 17 years, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
Now, were you a
and,
stay-at-home mom?
No, I
At that
worked.
point? You worked? What'd you do?
Well, I worked for the state.
Yeah.
I worked 10 years with DHR,
Yeah.
and I worked
That's Department of Human Resources.
Yeah.
and about a little bit less than 3 years at the judge's office, and then I went to the
Worthless shade.
Probation
Probation
office. I
I'm
couldn't
like,
even
they've
think.
had so many. I'm
Had
like,
a
which
brain
one?
freeze. Probation office, so I worked till I retired there.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think is really interesting about Mom, she had some interesting jobs before Dad, but then Dad kind of took you away and said we're gonna be
Yeah.
in the ministry. So
Not much social security from this. He didn't
Yeah.
marry me because of my future social security.
Yeah.
yeah. One time, Mother was talking to my grandmother, and she was kind of crying about, well, Grandma's on a fixed income, and Mother said, how nice would that be to have a fixed income?
I wish they'd fix mine.
That sounds pretty sweet.
Yes.
But what are some of the young jobs that you had back in your?
Oh, goodness. I think my first job was at Sprouse and Wright's. It's like a dime store, and they sold candy by the pound. I think that's why I wanted to work there. And Piece Goods, which is fabric. And
Okay.
all
They called it Piece
kinda-
Goods?
Piece Goods.
Okay.
Yes, all kind of fabrics, and I just love fabric,
Yeah.
So that
All the women in
interested
your
me.
family sewed, right?
Oh yeah, everybody did.
What is the story about Grandma Nixon? Your mom, when she was going to get married, and they had to order all of the fabric.
They ordered everything from the thread to the fabric, and grandmother made men's suits.
Wow.
I mean, it
That's some serious things.
wasn't
Yes.
enough that she had 7 children, and I think 3 died, but they didn't think they'd ever have a child. And that lived. She was after three, two stillborns, and then little Lois was like a year and a half when she died. She's a very sickly child, but she ordered everything, and so and Mother made all these beautiful garments for Mother when she got married, and she got the royal blue satin, and then a matching. She's in the picture, the
Yeah.
wedding picture, with that. And
They
then
didn't wear white just automatically. I mean,
well,
it was just
some people did, but I think,
Grandma just wore a suit.
yeah, she wore a dress, a royal blue
Okay.
dress, and my dad gave her a handbag. Still have it.
In the 40s.
It
Would
was
this have
a
been
33.
30s, in the
That was the
30s?
year of the big sandstorm. I mean, terrible sandstorms
Okay.
out there. But then Grandma wanted to make her a suit for going away.
Uh-huh.
And the first night they spent with friends,
Oh, man.
So but she went to their house.
Yeah, they didn't go way far.
They didn't go far away. Didn't stay very long. But they came back and lived in Jimmy Dean's, the house where he was born.
Oh.
Not the actor. He was an actor, but the sausage guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
that Jimmy Dean was
Yeah.
also an actor.
That's
And-
a fun fact. I don't think I knew that either.
Yeah, you have to dig them out of me. I just think, what's fun about that? It's
It's just a fact.
It's a fact, but it's not. But I can't prove it. So
Well, nobody's lived longer than you, so you can say what you want to.
Yeah.
and if they are, they're forgetful.
Yeah.
So,
But you had a job at the
I did that.
telephone.
Oh yes,
company?
when I met your dad, I know I was one of the last number please girls, the last team before the dial came in.
So you
before
pulled the plugs out.
Oh,
and
yes, I did.
Stuck 'em. I cannot understand what all
Yeah.
that was
Yes.
about.
Yeah,
That's
Ringing
crazy.
it was
Dingy.
high tech, and I was so good at it.
So could you hear?
The last
Did you
thing
hear the
high-tech I've ever-
conversations? Could you hear?
Yeah, you could
Listen
listen
in.
in. But
You
if
always
they
hear that.
But if they knew, if I was talking on the phone and somebody clicked in, I'd say, "Shut your key, shut your key. You can hear me. I can hear."
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so funny.
So
But you had the headset, and you would
the
say,
wires.
how would you?
And it was a board with jacks, all these jacks,
Okay.
just solid on that board.
Uh-huh.
And so you would see a light above the little jack thing.
Yeah.
And you'd pull a cord. You had a bank of cords this size over here, just covered with
Yeah.
cords. You'd pick one up, and if it buzzed, it was a busy line. You'd say, the line is busy.
Okay.
And so they'd have to try again.
So did each house have its own little?
We had phones on the wall, or we had a house phone.
Yeah.
That we'll watch Andy Griffith and you'll
Yeah.
see.
Okay. Yeah.
And the party line. Now my grandmother had a party line.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
she shared it with. It was her cousin, right?
There was,
Delray.
there was 8, I think, on some of the party lines back
Oh, yeah.
then.
Oh yeah.
And you
Yeah.
could pick up and listen to your neighbor.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, before we close out, because this hour has so flown by,
What?
I know.
I've got some fun facts. And don't you have some more?
We might have a part 2 one day.
we will. But real quickly,
We'll tell the same thing over.
yeah,
'Cause
that's right. We won't remember.
Yeah, of course I'm older than her, and she's darling.
So, darling,
Yes, your
y'all-
mother's
y'all
so
both are.
pretty.
I think you're both beautiful.
Thank you. Look
Thank
at her
you.
complexion.
Oh,
you favor. I mean, you very
Both are beautiful.
both beautiful. Well, I want you to kind of wrap up and just take a couple of minutes and share a real quick highlight of what a miracle it is that you're here.
Oh, true. It is a miracle on several points, but I think you're talking about the cancers.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been cancer free. Where's Lavoy when I need a calculator? It's 20 some years
Yeah.
I've been cancer free. And when I was first diagnosed with cancer, they gave me 3 months to live. Dr. Ben Fisher downtown was my doctor then, my endocrinologist. And so he gave me 3 months to live. And I remember walking out of that office. Cindy was with us, with Lavoy and me. And I looked at an Asian man in the corner, and he was crying. And I thought, I wonder how long he has to live. I hope it's more than 3 months.
Yeah.
And then I had chemo, radiation, long story. They thought they had the cancer. I thought they did. And then the cancer returned. It was, the first was colon cancer. The second one affected my bladder. But they also called it colon cancer
Yeah.
because that's where it stemmed from.
Yeah.
And I was really given up to die because nobody in Nashville wanted to operate. And I went to Mexico, and my husband and I spent only 3 weeks there. But it was good, and the holistic treatment, I think I would do it again. But if you have a choice, just be healed and forget it all.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But we came back and went back to conventional medicine with trust in God because the doctors can't heal.
Right.
They can medicate, they can poison, they can burn, they can do all these things, but they cannot heal. They only do. And I had good doctors. I have no horror stories of poor doctors or anything. I feel like I had the best doctors. But the cancer returned, and I had a radical, just us kids here, just
Yeah.
us girls,
Yeah.
radical pelvic exoneration is the surgery I had, which means they take everything out of your tummy. You don't have to live, and you just have to think about that a minute. And we think but we don't have to have everything that's in there. And there is life beyond, and my chances were my mortality numbers were off the chart. Only 1 out of 5,000 who has this radical surgery that I have live to tell about it. And then there are a few who do live, but they have no quality of life. And I have quality of life.
Yes.
And I'm so thankful to be here
Yeah.
or anywhere.
Huge
We're going to
testimony.
share the book because all of the details, all of her doctors' names, and they even sign off on that this happened. And
Yeah.
she ended up graduating from Sarah Cannon Cancer Center with a plaque that says that she is cancer free. And that has been about 25 years ago. Or coming up on 25 years ago.
Yeah.
The book is Miracle Out of the Mud, and it's available everywhere you get books. And so is the Haystacks and Barbed Wire Fences. April, hasn't this been a fun
Yes.
show? We're so
So
thankful for
So
you
fun.
to come all this way from Alabama, and Mom for sharing. And we just look forward to next week, and we hope that you have enjoyed this show. Write us, let us know how we can help you, because we're here to say, get it together, y'all. We're here to help. Bye-bye for now.